So Matt and I went to the Dominican Republic to escape the cold of Canada for a little while. And as we were strolling on the beach and having some good fun, we started to get really thirsty for some adventure. And that's when we found it. An abandoned resort. Exactly what we were looking for. So of course I wanted to climb on all the buildings there. And just as we were getting into the first building, we got stopped by an angry armadillo who sent us to jail. We managed to escape, but we were gonna have to think of a different way to get on top of the building. We would have to sneak. Luckily for us, there were some pretty sturdy beams on the side of the building, which is super important because rule number one of any exploration is making sure that the structures you climb on are solid. Unlike these floorboards, we had to go to the side to avoid certain death. Now it's time for the most challenging part, the last floor. And of course, your girl checked her surfaces because she's not about to die, especially not here on this easy but embarrassing climb. The main beams were really sturdy, but I had to shimmy awkwardly through those little pieces of wood with rusted nails in them, and it wasn't the best. It definitely took some time. 20 minutes for me, a second for you. I'm finally on top of the first building.
Wow!
This is very scary. Time to rest a little bit and realize just how sketchy these boards are. And now I can officially say I am queen of this first building. Hell yeah. Actually, going down is going to be a lot more challenging, I think, than going up. So this brings me to rule number 2 of every exploration. Make sure you can climb down. It was going to be hard with those tight spaces, but I managed to figure something out. Of course, Matt was not going to like what I had planned for my descent, but it was the safest way I found and most logical way to come down. I had to make my way over to a very sturdy beam, but it was very high up. And as I said, Matt was not pleased. I managed to climb down safely and expertly, and we both lived to see another day. I survived. Up next, we were headed for the rooms, and that building had a lot more stuff to explore. Squirrel boat. It's time to go all the way to the top. At that moment, I didn't catch it on camera, but we got attacked. Once again, we managed to survive. Des mini traces de peau.
A raccoon?
Of course, that didn't stop us from going on the roof.
Souvenir.
And like anyone who's been doing parkour for over 12 years, when you see a gap like this, there's only one thing you can do about it.
Wow!
Attention, ça fait. Wow! Now that we successfully conquered that gap, we can move on with the adventure.
What the fuck?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is literally the coolest thing we could have found in that resort. Matt was getting really into it. It was like we were in a video game and the game was telling us that there was gonna be a boss to fight pretty soon. So we were getting ready. And just like that, the armadillo came back and we started this epic fight that unfortunately I didn't get on camera, but he ended up being way too strong for us, so we had to run away using our awesome parkour skills. It was amazing, believe me. On to the next building. It was pretty cool. We jumped around a little, we found some interesting stuff. And some parkour stuff.
Vas-y, fais-le. Cool.
Everything was nice and dandy until...
Oh. Oh. J'aimerais ça avoir l'arme. Je sais pas si on peut être vu.
Fortunately for us, we managed to once again survive and made our way to the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't do a flip, but I was getting ready to do one and then we got kicked out. We came back to explore the last building.
Quelqu'un, t'as-tu vu?
In this one, we had to sneak a lot more because not only were there armadillos, but there were also people. With COVID, apparently. To avoid being seen, we had to climb this little alleyway. And since I was the second one to climb and Matt couldn't help me up, I grabbed this random bamboo stick and we managed to get me on top of that wall. I still don't know how we did it, and I wish I recorded it, but here we are. Now it's time for the last challenge of the day, the climb of the palmier. Except Matt immediately got stabbed by the tree and we had to go home because we didn't want any tetanus infection. So we made our way back to the beach, and our thirst for adventure was thoroughly quenched, so we were quite happy and didn't let ourselves be beat by that tree. Matt was fine, by the way. Anyways, thank you for listening to my story, and